All right, everyone, our speakers are here, so let's start. Okay, hello Polkadot community. It's me again, Anna from Polkadot Insider, and today we're just so proud to have an AMA session with a very core team members from Qoda, a DeFi lending borrowing protocol built on Moonbeam network that allows you to borrow and lend on your own terms. And their mission is to bring a complete fixed income solution to the DeFi world. And Qoda enables collateralized borrowing and lending of crypto assets at fixed interest rates for fixed periods, where terms are set by users themselves. And in case you don't know, Polkadot Insider is a channel updating news, data and analytics, real-time data, and research about your projects to support a retail investor views when they invest in the Polkadot and Kusama ecosystem. All right, and going through the AMA session today, it's a great honor for us to have a detailed conversation with very core team members from Qoda who are going to share with us about the growth potential of Qoda Finance and also what innovations that the project team is going to bring to the DeFi ecosystem in the upcoming time. All right, so no more waiting, let's get started. Okay, so kick off the atmosphere. So, sir, can you tell us something about Qoda and also about your background and how you guys became involved in Moonbeam and also Polkadot?
Yeah, thanks. That's a great question, and thanks again for hosting us. Really appreciate the time of the Polkadot community and Polkadot Insider. So Qoda, you kind of gave a great intro to this AMA and summarized Qoda quite well. But we are a decentralized order book style exchange for loans. It's something that doesn't really exist in DeFi at all, Polkadot or beyond. And we're pretty excited about what we've built and are building. My name is Dhruv Dang. My background is in finance and product development. I'm a software engineer and designer by trade. And Gio and I met back in Singapore over 10 years ago when we were both fresh grads on the trading floor of a bank. And we both got into crypto around the same time and reconnected in 2021 and decided to build Qoda together. Moonbeam and Polkadot, we actually got introduced to the Moonbeam team in early 2022. We were already aware of the project at the time and we're quite excited about it. We also believe in multi-chain, like the future is multi-chain, and have been involved in Polkadot for quite a while. So when we had a chance to meet the Moonbeam core team, we found that we had a lot of aligned interest and it made sense to partner with them.
Yeah, thank you, sir, a lot. I think it's very interesting to get to know more about your very great journey with Qoda and also a very chance to work with Moonbeam and also to involved in the Polkadot ecosystem. Yeah, and it's very interesting to know. Thank you, sir, a lot. Okay, so I think it's a very great kick-off for us to get to know more about Qoda. All right, so we all know that your project is about lending and borrowing, and we all know how important this legal need for a DeFi ecosystem. But we also know that there are quite a lot of projects in the same field out there. So could you tell us what are your core features that differentiate your projects from others and also how to serve the community?
Yeah, I can take a crack at that. Hey guys, so I'm Gio, together with Dhruv, I'm one of the co-founders for Qoda. Yeah, really excited to talk about the feature set for Qoda and kind of what we have to offer. So, like you mentioned, we are a lending borrowing protocol. Historically, the big giants in lending borrowing protocol are guys like Compound, like Aave, and that's kind of where we saw it as a starting point for fixed income and lending and borrowing. So we have a couple of unique features that we built that we saw kind of as weaknesses or points for improvement in Compound and Aave, sort of the old school style of lending borrowing protocols. A couple of the feature sets I can touch upon. One of the first ones I'm really excited about is the fact that we have what I like to call segregated asset tier versus market tier assets. So what I mean by that, on Compound and Aave, very known kind of problem there is that they're quite limited in the types of markets they can offer for lending and borrowing, because every time they introduce a new asset to the system, it could potentially, it automatically has to be used, has to be used as collateral on the system. And you can run into issues where introducing a new risky asset could introduce systemic risk to the entire system. We've seen those kind of attacks happen before on Compound and Aave, and they have to be very, very stringent on the types of assets that they offer. They kind of have to focus on the blue chips, like stablecoin, USDC, or ETH, or wrap BTC, that kind of thing, and kind of beyond that, it becomes quite risky for them to introduce systemic risk with kind of longer tail assets, kind of riskier, more volatile tokens. At Qoda, because we have this segregated asset tier, collateral tier assets rather, that means we have a list of tokens that can be accepted as collateral on Qoda, but this is a completely separate list compared to the markets that we have for lending and borrowing. That allows us to have very blue chip tier assets for collateral, but we can start to move down the curve of what we can offer for lending and borrowing, so we can start to experiment with a bit more volatile or riskier assets for lending and borrowing without threatening the health of the entire system. So that's one of the really cool features we have, is this collateral tier versus market tier asset. Another cool feature we have is the ability to offer a hybrid over-collateralized and under-collateralized lending and borrowing. So this is something that's still quite experimental, and still today we are kind of focusing 100% over-collateralized. But in my opinion, the future of lending and borrowing eventually has to open the floodgates to allow under-collateralized borrowing in some form or fashion, because this under-collateralized borrowing is the way that it happens in real life. And if we really want DeFi to succeed in the long term, we have to find a solution for under-collateralized borrowing. So to address that point, we have the technology to offer very customizable collateral ratios, liquidation ratios on a per address basis, and that can be granted on it could be KYC basis. For example, if we onboard institutional borrowers who might want to be borrowed under collateralized, or in the future, we're seeing a lot of developments in soul-bound tokens, where retail starts to build a credit score. And today the technology is still a little bit raw, but we can get to a point, I imagine, sometime in the future, we can start to offer under-collateralized borrowing to people who have good on-chain credit scores. This is something that today, like I mentioned, is a bit raw, but I think it's in the roadmap for crypto and DeFi in general in the future, and it's I think where we want to be as well in the coming months and years of DeFi. Lastly, we are a order book based lending borrowing protocol, meaning users can create limit orders, what we call quotes, limit orders for lending and borrowing. So lenders and borrowers can say, hey, where am I interested in lending and where am I interested in borrowing at? And interest rates become set by market participants rather than set by the protocol, which kind of is what is currently being done by Compound and Aave, which sometimes works well when markets are kind of quiet, but interest rates aren't necessarily linear, and they can't really be determined by a mathematical formula. The best way to kind of determine interest rates is allow the market to decide where they are. So that's just a couple of features that we have. We've got way more, but I don't want to talk all day about it. That's some of the cool features for Qoda.
Oh yeah, there are a lot of use cases and very cool features that Qoda have. Yeah, as we hear a lot about collateral system, and yeah, we believe that it's not so many projects out there can do it as well as Coda. And we know that there's still a lot of features still like in upcoming and very worth expecting, and we definitely wait for it. Yeah, thank you, sir, a lot for such insightful sharing. Yeah, so as you said, about a very core features of your project that makes us very curious about is that both lenders and borrowers can set the interest rate based on their own demand, also the size and terms, and how amazing it is. So could you explain more to us about how it works and how they can meet their suppliers?
Yeah, sure. Contrasting ourselves again against the current generation of money markets of lending borrowing protocols, Compound and Aave, offer floating interest rates, which obviously it's these protocols are great. They've innovated a lot, but at the same time, what users want longer term down the road is a little bit more certainty in terms of what their APR is going to be, and that's kind of where we come in Coda is with fixed interest rates. So we do fixed interest rate loans. Along with that, as you mentioned, we do an order book style exchange where users can set their own terms. So they create limit orders of where they want to borrow and where they want to lend. Mature markets, this is in the end, where we want to be skating towards, is towards a place where there is a exchange style method to settle interest rates, because demand and supply are the ultimate determinants of where the prevailing interest rates should be. So if we allow users to set their own interest rates, create limit orders, the market will appear at where the real rates should be, rather than being set by the protocol itself, because the devs can't really predict what interest rates should be. But Coda having order book style allows that to happen.
Yeah, thank you, sir, a lot. I think it's another very great news for our listeners today. Yeah, and it's very interesting to know as well. So, talking about the future a little bit. So, do you have any plans for development of Coda in terms of product to serve the users better?
Yeah, we do. We've just gotten started. Even though Gio's kind of mentioned all of the things that Coda can do now, there's quite a bit more that we want to build and are building to ship out to our community. Some of that includes extending the wallet features in Coda, so supporting Polkadot native wallets and extensions, showing more wallet information in the UI, like your account balances and different assets, and enabling support for shortcuts on form fields. So on other apps like Binance, for example, you'll be able to select how much of your balance you want to input as a notional in a trade. This was some feedback we got for a long time from our community, and we just finished getting feedback from our ambassadors. So thank you, ambassadors, for providing feedback to us, but that's in the final stages of design right now. The other things that we're building are to make Coda more accessible to retail customers or retail users. So we strongly believe in the decentralized part of DeFi, and we need to reflect that belief in our product. So right now, Coda is a pretty complicated tool. Like, we've done our best to simplify it, but we think we can simplify it further. So we're working on new features that will make it more accessible to more people that have varying levels of knowledge about loans and finance. And the last one, which I can't share too many details about right now, you just have to stay tuned, is we're integrating some pretty cool community features into Coda that might take a few months to launch, but we're pretty excited about them. I just can't share too much about that right now.
Yeah, we understand that as the first stage of development, we see that Coda maybe still had a lot of work to do, and a lot of plans is upcoming. But we all believe that with Coda teams and vision and all things gonna be on track, and we're gonna have a lot of interesting experience and very worth expecting for all of us about Coda next step. Yeah, definitely. So one of the things that gonna strengthen the user's journey is about achievements. So can you reveal with us some of your best achievements so far, sir?
Yeah, a good question. I think our community has achieved a lot, and I'm very excited by what they've done. Like we have a lot of different, I guess, local locales in our Discord where people can sort of speak in their own language. I'm very proud of that achievement. I know Serhi, community manager, has been an important part of that, and our in-house moderator as well as our ambassadors. That's, I think, quite a phenomenal achievement about how we've been able to reach so many people from different parts of the world. In terms of product development and Coda itself, as I sort of hinted at earlier, Coda is brand new. It's something that it's not a fork. Like, we haven't forked any other existing project. We've had to think of everything from scratch, and it has certainly been a team effort to get here. So I think that's probably, for me personally, one of the best achievements our team has been able to do.
Yeah, thank you, sir, a lot. We really understand your point, and we know that social media is a weapon. Yeah, and we can see that Coda is doing great job about it, like on Discord or even on Twitter. We have a lot of news to get engaged more with Coda, and we know that in the upcoming time there are a lot of great news and great events that we can expect from Coda. Yeah, so talking about collaboration a little bit, so are you working with any partners or executing any program to strengthen your reputation and let more people know more about Coda and get engaged more in Coda?
Yeah, collaboration, partnerships, these are super important to us, and it's something that we're focusing on a lot right now. Obviously, we can't talk about specific partnerships that are kind of in the works right now until they're finalized. So you guys will kind of have to wait a little bit until we announce these publicly. But what I can say is our philosophy, especially within Polkadot, within Moonbeam ecosystem, there's a real strong need for our project to integrate with other projects that are in the ecosystem. Polkadot has a lot of very new technology. Moonbeam has a lot of really new technology. Coda has a lot of really technology, and a lot of the other projects that are building in the ecosystem have a lot of cool new technology. And one of the most important things that we need to do when we have new technology is to start educating users, how it all works. New protocols, sometimes they take time to learn, and people need to know what's out there. One of the main ways, one of the main levers we have to kind of educate our users is via liquidity incentives, liquidity rewards. So it kind of gives us a way to gamify experiences for users. So having stuff like trading contests, co-marketing campaigns around this that allow our users to participate in fun sort of events that allow them to, number one, earn rewards, but also number two, at the same time while they're doing that, passively learn more about our protocol and also learn more about our partners' protocols, and how they kind of integrate together so that our users can leave with a reward, but also at the same time learn a lot more about Coda, learn a lot more about Moonbeam, and learn a lot more about Polkadot, and hopefully users will like the experience, and there's going to be kind of a sticky effect where we start to see people starting to onboard onto the whole ecosystem and stay and become long-term users.
Yeah, I really agree with you, sir, about how important education is. Yeah, and it's a good news that Coda is making every effort to get the education of all what you're doing to the listeners, to the users. And yeah, we all believe that with with Qoda and Moonbeam and Polkadot, there are a lot of great events. There are a lot of great education that users can expect in the upcoming time. Yeah, and that's very great. So I think the last question is quite relaxing compared to others. So if you have 2 sentences or maybe just 2 words to express your pride in Qoda, so what are those, sir?
Yeah, that's a nice question to sort of wrap things up, I guess. Yeah, I can give you 2 words, community and team. Ultimately, Qoda is about people, and so the people that are really supporting us are our community. They're people that have been with us from the very beginning, even before Moonbase Alpha. And yeah, we are all immensely grateful for that. Extremely proud of that and their achievements. And finally, our team. Our team is actually pretty small. We're 6 people right now, and I feel like we've achieved a lot as a small and nimble team. And it's, again, a new product, so very, very impressed every day by what our team does and what they build. So those two words, community and team.
Yeah, that's great enough, sir. Yeah, community and team. Yeah, we really appreciate what you've been doing to devote to the community development. And yeah, we definitely believe in your team. Yeah, a very good team. The numbers is not a matter. Yeah, what matters is you guys are doing a great job and keep developing and keep building for Qoda and also for the Polkadot ecosystem as a whole. And we really appreciate that. Yeah. So I think that's all about the question today. We have been through a lot interesting information about Qoda, about the unique points of Qoda and what only Qoda can bring to the users, and which is really amazing. So and also what are the next steps? Some next steps, and yeah, which is pretty interesting as well. So, sir, before we say goodbye, do you have any words left that you want to say to our listeners today before we say goodbye?
Yeah, thanks very much for tuning in. We are always welcoming people to our community. So if you'd like to be a part of Qoda and sort of come along for the ride, definitely check out our Twitter account for the latest news and join us on Discord. Thanks again.
Yeah, thank you, sir, a lot, and also thank you, Qoda, again for believing us as the bridge to the community. And also a great thing to the community, all the listeners have joined us today in this AMA, and we hope that you really enjoy it. Yeah, so if you want to be a part of Qoda, as the speaker say, please follow the Twitter of Qoda and also join in the Qoda Discord for not missing any of their latest updates and news. Yeah, so and also follow Polkadot Insider for more latest news and also AMAs. Yeah, so about the recap, we're gonna post it very soon, and we're gonna wrap up some of the main points, some important information in this AMA for you guys. So don't worry and wait for it. Yeah, and I think it's all about the AMA today. So it's time to say goodbye, everyone. So goodbye, everyone, and have a nice day.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.